HCAM News is supported by our viewers and by Hopkinton Drug, located in this historic New England town since 1954. They are a multifaceted store dedicated to providing clients with an array of healthcare options.
And by Webster First Federal Credit Union, providing financial products with attentive customer service to the local families and businesses of Hopkinton. Visit us at websterfirst.com. Hello, and welcome to HCAM News. Tom Nappy at the anchor desk to fill you in with what's happening in town. On this edition of HCAM News, Gary Reed's solo performance tells the story of bluegrass legend Carter Stanley. Weston Nurseries hosted Trucks, Trains, and Games. We have scenes from some of the latest concerts on the Common, and Louise Coleman, formerly of Greyhound Friends, joined me to talk about her new book and trial. But first, the Board of Selectmen are back meeting in Town Hall. On Tuesday, August 7th, the Board of Selectmen hosted their meeting from Hopkinton Town Hall for the first time in over a year.
I think the last time we had a Board of Selectmen's meeting in this room was in April of 2017, about 16 months ago. So many thanks to everyone who's participated in making, getting us back home, all the hard work and all the forbearance of the townspeople, of the town hall employees and staff. I can remember at one point Mr. Kamalo's office was a chair in the corner of the fire station. So we've come a long way. So welcome home to everybody.
I think we need to take a second and thank Bob and everyone at HCAM for all the hard work that they did putting us up down there for the last year and a half. So thank you very much for all the adjustments and everything that you guys did to make us feel cooler than we are tonight.
Welcome back anytime.
Duly noted.
Thank you.
During the meeting, the Board of Selectmen recognized a couple of Girl Scout Gold Award recipients.
The Board of Selectmen will recognize the Girl Scout Gold Award recipients, Melissa Hayes and Grace Darkow of Girl Scout Troop 72233 for projects which inspired STEM interests in young girls, and Karen Bograd has been their Girl Scout troop leader. I wish there were the same kind of ceremony for the Girl Scout Gold Awards that there are for the Eagle Scouts, so I want everyone to understand tonight what a really, really special event this is and an enormous accomplishment for these young women.
I made an after-school program for 4th and 5th grade girls to learn how to build, program, and design Lego robots. So they took part in a sumo competition where they had to knock other robots off a field, and the last robot standing won. And they worked in like teams of 3 or 4. Yeah, other high school students will be continuing the program in future years, and all like the high school robotics program has all of like the materials for each year, so it can be picked up at any point.
So my project was to teach young girls in 1st grade about engineering. So I taught them about like the engineering design process. I also taught them about other female engineers, and I led them through with my mentors a whole bunch of different activities where they built things and used engineering, such as like building like a toy or building a small house. I used a lot of like matching games and stuff, and like all the activities. There was like 3 for like building activities, so they could like move on really quickly.
So thank you and good evening. My name is Danielle Dolcinos. I'm the Director of Volunteer Engagement at Girl Scouts of Eastern Massachusetts, and I'm honored to be here tonight with all of you. The Gold Award is our most prestigious award in Girl Scouts. Starting in 1916, the best and brightest undertook sustainable projects that improve their communities in the world. The Gold Award has inspired girls to find greatness inside themselves and share their ideas and passions with their communities. Over the past 100 years, those who have earned the highest award in Girl Scouting reflect the vision of our movement's founder, Juliet Gordon-Lowe. Juliet believed deeply in the importance of giving back to one's community and sought to inspire the same in others. Nationally, only 13% of girls ages 14 to 17 earn the Gold Award. So we're very excited to be able to celebrate the work of 2 Hopkinton Girl Scouts who are joining those prestigious ranks as Gold Award Girl Scouts. Grace Darkow and Melissa Hayes have demonstrated extraordinary leadership in making a difference in their community with measurable Take Action projects.
Therefore, the Board of Selectmen of the Town of Hopkinton, Massachusetts, join with Melissa and Grace's family and friends in recognition of their achievement in attaining the rank of Gold Award, signed under our hand and seal this 7th day of August, 2018. This is for Melissa, and this is for Grace. We also have a certificate of appreciation for Karen, if you would come up as well. Thank you very much. You are cleaning up. And maybe we can get some photographs now.
Tom Nappy here, and I am joined by Louise Coleman, formerly of Greyhound Friends. Louise, you have a new book out.
I do.
It's called Boston Boy, A Greyhound Journey. Can you talk about your new book for us?
Sure, of course. Boston Boy was the name of the first greyhound that I adopted in 1983 on Mother's Day. He had been a real champ. He was 5 years old. He was at Wonderland. And back in 1983, there really wasn't much greyhound adoption. So I heard about him. I went out with my son, Nolan, in our Pinto, picked him up. Boston Boy took up the whole back seat and stood up the whole way. But he was a great dog, and the guy who gave him to me kept calling to see if I wanted another one and another one and another one. And we lived in a little apartment in Harvard Square. So I just realized that, what wonderful dogs, that they really needed promoting and adopting and help. So I started Greyhound Friends.
And how long did it take you to work on this book?
Well, I've had some spare time for a change. That was one of the positives out of all this. Maybe 6 months. It's some of what I used was from our newsletters, Greyhound Friends' newsletters for a long time. And the Get Set marketing people in Springfield did our newsletters for a long time, and so they also printed the book.
All right, and there's a lot of history about just your work in general.
Well, there is. There's a lot of history about what I've done. But one of the other things I really tried to do is have it be comprehensive. There's a lot about Hopkinton in the book. There's a lot about the land that Greyhound Friends' Kennel is on is a very historical piece of property. The architect who built the stone buildings was Royal Barry Wills, a very famous Boston architect. And it's just a very historical property, and I think deserves consideration just in terms of what it means to the town, or what it should mean to the town.
All right, and switching gears a little bit, now you were recently on trial, and you were found innocent. And at your trial, Judge David Kunis found you not guilty of animal cruelty. Since then, you have still faced opposition, and Greyhound Friends reached an agreement with the Attorney General's office that you are no longer to be involved with the organization. It's clearly been a tough road for you. After all this, I want to give you an opportunity to speak to the people who have supported you and also those who have opposed you, and tell them anything that you would like them to know.
Well, I think one of the most important things out of all of this is that it seems really unfortunate to me that the Greyhound Friends has been closed since January 2017. That Greyhound Friends could easily have placed 350 dogs. That the dogs have suffered for that, and also that Greyhound Friends is both a local and a global organization, and because of all of this distraction, we haven't had time to do the international work, so that again the dogs have suffered because of that. It generally has seemed to me to be something that really should never have happened. That if people had problems with me or problems with Greyhound Friends, that they could have talked it over. That The fact that there was a 4-day bench trial, I mean, how much does that run? I mean, how much did that cost the taxpayers? I mean, it just seems way blown out of proportion and really damaging. The Greyhound Friends Insurance Company has spent $250,000. It's, and again, the biggest loser in all of this has been the dogs. That the tracks in Florida are closing, that Greyhounds get on the plane in Miami and they get off in Buenos Aires. This has just been a real distraction, and I think it's something that really shouldn't have happened.
If you wish to see more about Louise Coleman's new book, head over to greyhoundjourney.com. A whole lot more is ahead on HCAM News. Stick around. HCAM programming is supported by our viewers, thank you, and by Golden Pond Assisted Living, honoring resident choice, dignity, and independence. Our health and wellness focus keeps residents active. Golden Pond, state-of-the-art senior housing and healthcare services.
All right, workshop series in July.
We should shoot a promo for it.
Yeah, but what's the concept?
Has to be cool.
Is this cool?
Is this cool?
Is this cool?
This is cool.
Do you have what it takes?
Will you make a difference?
Always an adventure.
Police and fire working together.
Utilizing the latest technology.
Do you have what it takes?
Welcome back to HCAM News. Weston Nurseries recently hosted their annual Trucks, Trains, and Games event. Despite the rain, a few still stopped by to check out the cool train displays and take part in the activities. HCAM's Alex Walton was on the scene.
Western Nurseries hosted a day of trucks, tractors, and games, with support from the local Railroad Association, who set up the train stations and villages.
Today is our trucks, tractors, and games in the rain, apparently. So we're having a fun time. We have got the local railroad organization here. They actually have a bunch of really great model trains they've set up in our train garden in the back, which is exciting. Little kids are always here playing with their parents and watching the trains go around. We have a beautiful little village set up. We've also got trains set up inside, thank heavens, to watch, and they brought some extra really interesting cars and tracks there today. On top of that, we have Snappy Dogs, who's always here in our parking lot from Tuesday until Sunday, every day. Ullman's Ice Cream is going to be by, so we can have some ice cream today. And then we've got a bunch of the farm equipment that we use here at the nursery every day, including some cool vintage tractors, a Kubota, which is like a big machine that picks up trees and moves it around. And it's just going to be like a fun time for little kids. And you can bring your galoshes and your umbrellas and jump in the puddles, and it'll be a good time.
They also had the almost daily food cart Snappy Dogs join them. Unfortunately, with all the rain, the previously planned edition of Almond's Ice Cream could not attend.
And we're from Snappy Dogs. We've been around for 9 years. And we've got, right? 9 years.
2009.
Yeah, 2009. And so we're here at Weston Nurseries, and we have a new location.
Which is our old location, which is downtown Hopkinton behind the CVS and Marty's Liquors.
Would you like to say about why you came today?
Well, we were coming to, we're open every day but rainy days and Mondays, and as you can see, it's a Saturday and it's raining, and there's a tornado warning. But we were hoping to open because Weston Nurseries had the tractors, trucks, and trains.
And rain.
And rain.
Tractors, trucks, trains, and rains today.
And then with a tornado warning, we just thought it best not to open, unfortunately. So
we'll be open tomorrow, though.
Despite a whole lot of rain, a few still managed to make it down to Western Nurseries to check out the displays.
This summer has featured some great concerts on the Common. Here's a look at some of the performances and also a look at the upcoming schedule.
There's a way. Everybody say to do each and everything. Oh, walk through and would it bring if I ain't got you? Down in my eyes, I've seen the years as a slow parade of tears without crying. It's not enough to understand. I have done all that I could. See the evil and the good without hiding. You must help me if you can. Conquer my eyes. She grew up in an Indiana town, had a good-looking mama who never was around. She grew up strong, she grew up riding with the Indiana boys, Indiana night. Well, it was kind of cold at night. She stood alone, the bell kept ringing. She could hear the cars roll by. I don't fall for one. Rain, pushing on the beach, and for one desperate day, he kept back in her memory. God is so painful, so thin, so close. Still so far out of reach. Oh yeah, alright. Take it easy, baby. There's no night. She was an American girl.
You make me feel so young. You make me feel like spring has sprung. And every time I see you grin, I'm such a happy individual. The moment that you speak, I wanna go play hide and seek. I wanna go and bounce the moon just like a toy balloon. Stars when you shine, you know how I feel. Scent of the pines, you know how I feel. Oh, freedom is mine, and I know how I feel.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the HCAM Insider. I'm Matt Clark, and here's what's happening this week on HCAM. On Friday, August 17th at 5 p.m., local artists and musicians gather to share their music and poetry on a new episode of Wake Up and Smell the Poetry. On Monday, August 20th at 8 p.m., Jim Cousins sits down with Town Clerk Connor Deegan to talk about his job in the local government on a new episode of All About Hopkinton. On Wednesday, August 22nd at 7 p.m., Margie and Lisa are back and invite you to join the conversation on a new episode of The Margie and Lisa Show, live on HCAM TV. And on Thursday, August 23rd at 8 p.m., Amanda Maffei and her mercenaries perform in this week's edition of Concerts on the Common. And on HCAM Ed, the Ashland Legion Baseball vs. Lowell game will air. If you want to know more about all of HCAM's shows before they air, then head over to hcam.tv/connect, where you can sign up for our HCAM Insider newsletter. Or if you want to know more about what's happening in Hopkinton, you can sign up for our daily news updates. That's all for this week's Insider. I'm Matt Clark, and as always, thanks for watching. That will just about do it for this edition of HCAM News. Don't forget, you could stay up to date with everything Hopkinton by checking out our website, hcam.tv, as well as our Twitter and Facebook page. Be sure to head over to our website for the latest happenings in our community and check out the new Hopkinton Community Calendar to take a look at upcoming events in town. If you have a Hopkinton-related video, photo, or story idea, I want to hear from you. Email me at news@hcam.tv. With your help, we'll cover even more of our community. For everyone here at HCAM, I'm Tom Nappy. We leave you now with the current community listings and upcoming government meetings. As always, thanks for watching HCAM News. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day. On this edition, award-winning actor and musician Gary Reed performs at the Hopkinton Public Library. Gary has been a bluegrass enthusiast and historian for over 40 years. His one-man show entitled A Life of Sorrow tells the tale of Carter Stanley. Carter was a bluegrass music lead singer who formed the Stanley Brothers with his younger brother, Ralph Stanley. Gary Reed's A Life of Sorrow has been performed nearly 70 times at theaters, festivals, libraries, and museums in 13 different states. And right now, we have Gary Reed's A Life of Sorrow performed at the Hopkinton Public Library.
Remember that love for God can be found, but now they're both gone. This letter just told me 4 years they've been dead. The fields have turned brown. 4 years they've been dead. The fields have turned brown.
Today's presentation is called A Life of Sorrow, The Life and Times of Carter Stanley, and it's a one-man show that I put together which, as the title implies, pays homage to Carter Stanley. Carter was a gifted singer, songwriter, musician who helped lay the foundations of what we know today as bluegrass music. He wrote the songs, he played the music, and he self-destructed. He pounded the pavements for about 20 years, after which time he passed away at the young age of 41 back in 1946. And his songs are revered so much by today's bluegrass pickers and singers, and people know the songs, but he's been gone from the scene for so long that people don't realize that he was the driving force, the creator of all of these things. So A Life of Sorrow is my little crusade to let folks know just where the music really came from.
All right, and how long have you been doing this presentation?
I started doing it in September 2014, so almost 4 years now. I've been to 15 different states with it, as far north as Vermont, as far south as Florida, as far west as Arizona. And just this past weekend, took it to Canada for the first time. I've given about 80 performances altogether.
If people want to learn more about you, is there a place to find you online?
Yeah, alifeofsorrow.com.
There's a way. Everybody say to do each and everything. Oh, what good would it bring if I ain't got you?